Today, we're going to reveal the brutal truth about your life. Why so many people are constantly busy, but never truly productive. If you feel like you're always running in circles, overwhelmed by tasks that don't matter, or stuck in a cycle of distractions, this video is for you. We'll show you how to stop pretending to be busy, reclaim your time, and focus on actions that really move you forward. Through real-life stories, practical strategies, and mindset tips, you'll learn how to take control, build meaningful habits, and achieve real results, both in life and in learning English. So, stay tuned, because what you're about to discover could completely change the way you live and learn. Imagine waking up every morning, rushing through your day, checking off countless tasks on a never-ending to-do list, and yet, at the end of it all, feeling like you achieved nothing meaningful. You scroll through your phone, see friends posting their successes, and wonder why your life doesn't feel the same. You've been busy, so busy, but deep down, you know that busyness itself is not success. This is the reality for millions of young adults around the world, especially those striving to improve themselves, learn English, or build a better life. They fill every hour with activity, yet the important things, the growth, the skills, the personal achievements, slip quietly through their fingers. Let me tell you a story. There was a young man named Daniel. He worked from 9 to 6, then spent hours on side projects, scrolling social media, and attending endless Zoom meetings that never really mattered. Every day he felt productive. Every night he went to bed exhausted. But one evening, while looking at a photo of a friend who had just launched a business, Daniel realized something painful. Despite all his busyness, he hadn't moved closer to his dreams. He had been running in circles, confusing activity with progress. This is the brutal truth most people avoid. Being busy does not equal being successful or fulfilled. The illusion of busyness is everywhere. Social media celebrates constant activity. Work culture glorifies late nights and packed calendars. Friends and colleagues unconsciously compete over who is doing more. And for non-native English speakers or anyone learning a new skill, the pressure can be even greater. You feel you must study, practice, and improve constantly, or you will fall behind. But there is a difference between purposeful effort and frantic motion. One leads to mastery and confidence. The other leads to exhaustion, frustration, and a lingering sense that life is slipping away. Contrast this with someone who is intentional with their time. Imagine Sarah, a young woman who also has a busy schedule. She works, studies English, and takes care of her personal projects. But she doesn't fill her day just to look busy. Instead, she identifies her priorities, focuses on high-impact tasks, and schedules her time with purpose. Every action has meaning. She ends her days tired, yes, but proud of what she accomplished. By being intentional, she transforms busyness into progress, and her confidence grows with every small, meaningful success. Why does this matter so much? Because young adults like you, whether you are learning English, building a career, or simply trying to improve yourself, often fall into the trap of mistaking motion for momentum. You may be busy all day, yet your skills remain the same, your dreams remain distant, and your confidence suffers. It is not laziness or lack of ambition holding you back. It is the invisible, quiet force of meaningless busyness that steals time, energy, and potential. and recognizing it is the first step toward change. Throughout this video, we are going to confront that uncomfortable truth head-on. We will examine the habits and behaviors that make people feel productive while achieving almost nothing. You will learn to spot the difference between activity and achievement, between effort and progress. We will explore practical strategies to reclaim your time, focus on your real priorities, and take actions that actually move your life forward. You will see contrast examples, people who wasted years in motion without results, and those who harnessed intention to achieve real growth. These stories will help you understand not just what to do, but why it matters emotionally, practically, and psychologically. By the end of this video, you will not just feel inspired, you will feel equipped. You will know how to stop pretending to be busy and start living intentionally. You will gain clarity on what matters most in your life, actionable strategies to focus on high-impact work, and a mindset shift that will transform the way you approach every day. This is not just about productivity hacks or time management tips. It's about reclaiming your life, building confidence, and becoming the person you truly want to be, someone who takes control rather than letting busyness control them. So, if you have ever looked back on a day, a week, or even a year and realized you were busy but accomplished very little, this video is for you. If you have ever felt frustrated by your own lack of progress, despite pouring in endless effort, you are not alone, and you are not failing. You are simply caught in the trap of meaningless busyness, and the good news is you can escape. Together, we will break down the truth, reveal the mindset shifts you need, and provide clear, actionable steps to turn your days into real progress. It won't be easy. It requires honesty, reflection, and action. But if you are ready to stop pretending and start achieving, to stop running in circles and start moving forward, then this is your moment. This video will be your guide, your wake-up call, and your roadmap to living a life that feels productive, meaningful, and deeply satisfying. From here on, every section will build on the last, showing you how to identify fake busyness, focus on what truly matters, and take actionable steps toward real growth. By the time we finish, the illusion of busyness will no longer hold you back. You will know how to live intentionally, confidently, and purposefully. Section 1. The illusion of busyness. Have you ever finished a full day, looked at the clock, and thought, "Wow, I was so busy today." But when you reflect, you realize you didn't actually get anything meaningful done? This is the trap so many of us fall into, the illusion of busyness. On the surface, busyness feels productive. You are moving, typing, attending meetings, answering emails, scrolling your phone. But underneath it often masks a deeper problem, the absence of real progress. Let's take a simple example. Imagine two people. Alex spends hours scrolling social media, jumping from one notification to another, liking posts, commenting, and reacting. He feels occupied, even important, because his attention is constantly engaged. Meanwhile, Mia spends the same hours practicing English, reading, or writing something valuable. At the end of the day, Alex feels tired and accomplished in the moment, but Mia has actually improved her skills and moved closer to her goals. This is the contrast between being busy and being productive. Busy is noise, productive is progress. Why do we fall into the trap of busyness? One reason is psychological, social validation. There is a subtle pride in being seen as always working. Posting about your day, talking about how packed your schedule is, or constantly responding to messages creates the illusion of importance. Even if you are achieving very little, others perceive you as hardworking and capable. The problem is that this kind of validation is external and temporary. It feels good for a moment, but it doesn't lead to mastery, confidence, or tangible results. Another reason is fear of judgment. Many people avoid being alone with their thoughts or facing their true priorities because it can feel uncomfortable. It's easier to fill the day with small tasks, even meaningless ones, than to confront the question, am I actually moving forward? This fear drives overcommitment, endless multitasking, and a constant need to appear busy. It's like running on a treadmill, motion without destination. You're moving, but you're not getting anywhere. Here's a story to illustrate this. There was a woman named Lena who worked at a marketing firm. Her days were packed, back-to-back meetings, endless emails, and constant updates to her team. At the end of every week, she felt exhausted. One Friday evening, she decided to review her accomplishments. To her surprise, despite all the activity, she hadn't completed a single project that really mattered for her career growth. Her busy days had been filled with shallow tasks that gave the illusion of importance. She had been so focused on looking productive that she forgot to focus on being effective. Contrast Lena's experience with someone like Daniel, a young learner who wants to improve his English and communication skills. Daniel also has a busy life. He goes to work, studies, and attends social events. But he is intentional. He prioritizes studying vocabulary, practicing speaking for 30 minutes every day, and applying what he learns in real conversations. At the end of the week, Daniel feels tired but fulfilled. He has tangible results to show. He is busy, yes, but in a way that matters. This is the subtle but crucial difference. Productivity is not about doing more, it's about doing what counts. Another reason busyness persists is habit. Many of us confuse activity with purpose because we were never taught to evaluate the impact of our actions. We get caught in routines, fill our calendars, and chase deadlines without asking ourselves whether those actions truly serve our goals. We scroll mindlessly on social media, check emails constantly, or join unnecessary meetings thinking we are making progress. Yet these are distractions disguised as work. Real progress requires intention, focus, and conscious effort, not just motion. Self-reflection is the first step to breaking the illusion of busyness. Ask yourself, at the end of today, will I feel proud of what I accomplished? Will I have learned something new, moved closer to my goals, or created something meaningful? If the answer is no, it's time to rethink how you spend your energy. Recognizing that busyness does not equal productivity is liberating. It frees you to choose where to focus and how to make every action count. It's also important to note that being busy is not inherently bad. Activity, effort, and discipline are necessary for growth. The problem arises when we confuse volume for value, when we fill our days with noise instead of purpose. The key is awareness, noticing the difference between tasks that move you forward and tasks that simply fill your time. This awareness allows you to reclaim control over your day and your life. As we move to the next section, the focus shifts from recognizing the problem to taking action. Identifying your real priorities. Once you understand that busyness is often an illusion, the next step is to define what truly matters to you. What are the high-impact tasks that will create real progress in your life? How can you replace meaningless activity with intentional effort that builds confidence, skills, and results? This transition from awareness to action is critical. The sooner you clarify your priorities, the sooner you can turn your busy days into productive, fulfilling ones. By understanding the illusion of busyness, you've taken the first step toward transformation. Awareness alone won't change your life, but it is the foundation for intentional action, focus, and meaningful growth. In the next section, we will dive into practical strategies to identify your priorities and start aligning your daily actions with the life you truly want to create. Section 2. The cost of pretending. Have you ever looked back at a week, a month, or even a year and realized that despite being busy all the time, very little meaningful was accomplished? That feeling of regret, of wasted time, is one of the hidden costs of pretending to be busy. On the surface, you might feel important, productive, or engaged, but underneath, there's a quiet, creeping loss. Lost time, mental fatigue, stalled growth, and opportunities slipping through your fingers. The cost of fake busyness is higher than most people realize, and it affects every area of life. Let me tell you about Jason. He was a young professional, ambitious and hardworking, or at least he thought he was. His calendar was packed, endless meetings, constant emails, back-to-back calls. He prided himself on staying busy. But one day, an opportunity arrived. A chance to join a project that could have transformed his career, expanded his network, and opened doors he had only dreamed about. Jason hesitated. He told himself he was too busy to take it on. Weeks passed, and the opportunity vanished. That moment was a turning point. He realized that while he had been occupied with tasks that gave the illusion of progress, he had been blind to the opportunities that truly mattered. Fake busyness had cost him a life-changing chance. This example highlights a critical contrast: constant activity versus intentional work. A life filled with endless busy work might feel productive in the short term, but it often leads to stagnation. The tasks we perform just to stay active, replying to emails that could wait, attending meetings with no purpose, scrolling endlessly on social media, consume our energy without producing meaningful results. In contrast, a life focused on intentional work channels energy toward high-impact actions. Each hour, each effort, builds towards something that truly matters. Productivity is measured by progress, not by motion. Mental fatigue is another major cost of pretending to be busy. When your day is overloaded with meaningless tasks, your brain is constantly switching between actions, never resting, and never fully focusing. This mental exhaustion affects your decision-making, creativity, and ability to learn new skills. Think of it like a battery that is draining without charging. You might appear active, energetic, and engaged, but internally, you are running on empty. Intentional work, on the other hand, balances effort and focus with rest and reflection, allowing you to maintain clarity, energy, and effectiveness over time. Another hidden cost is delayed goals. The tasks we fill our days with are often convenient or easy, but they rarely move the needle on what we truly want. For example, imagine someone learning English. They spend hours on grammar exercises or watching random videos online, but never practice speaking or writing consistently. They are busy with learning, but their goal, fluency, is delayed. The contrast is stark. A few hours of focused, intentional practice every day builds real results, whereas a lifetime of scattered effort produces little progress. Emotional costs are just as real. There is a subtle, lingering frustration that comes from looking back at a day or week and realizing nothing significant was achieved. It erodes confidence, saps motivation, and can lead to self-doubt. You might start asking yourself, why am I working so hard and getting nowhere? This emotional toll is compounded by comparison. Seeing peers, colleagues, or friends achieving real progress while you are trapped in a cycle of busy work can feel demoralizing. Recognizing these costs is the first step toward change. Awareness alone won't solve the problem, but it gives you the clarity needed to make intentional decisions. Ask yourself, what am I doing every day that genuinely moves me closer to my goals? Which tasks are distractions disguised as progress? What opportunities might I be missing because I am too busy with trivial matters? Honest answers to these questions are the foundation for reclaiming your time, focus, and energy. Contrast is powerful here. Picture two paths. One where a person fills every day with shallow activity, and another where someone dedicates even a fraction of the day to purposeful, high-value work. The first path leads to exhaustion, stagnation, and regret. The second path leads to skill building, confidence, and real achievement. The choice is yours. But most people continue down the first path simply because it is easier and more socially acceptable to appear busy than to confront uncomfortable truths about priorities and effort. Let's return to Jason. After realizing the cost of his fake busyness, he decided to change. He started by listing his true goals and identifying tasks that directly contributed to them. He declined unnecessary meetings, minimized time spent on social media, and focused on the high-impact actions that would actually move his career forward. Slowly, day by day, he noticed progress. He was still busy, yes, but now his busyness had meaning. His energy was focused, his mind was clear, and opportunities no longer passed him by unnoticed. This story demonstrates a crucial lesson. The cost of pretending to be busy is real, but it is also avoidable. By recognizing the difference between activity and progress, you can reclaim your time, restore your energy, and refocus on what truly matters. The sooner you see these hidden costs, the sooner you can begin to take control of your life. In the next section, we will move from awareness to action. Understanding the cost of fake busyness sets the stage for a vital question. What are your real priorities? Once you identify what truly matters, you can replace meaningless activity with intentional effort, turning your busy days into productive, fulfilling ones. This is where transformation begins. Shifting from pretending to being purposeful, and from wandering through life to moving toward meaningful goals. Section 3. Identifying your real priorities. Have you ever wondered why, despite being busy all day, you still feel like you're not moving forward? The truth is, busyness without purpose is like running in circles. You're moving, but going nowhere. The key to breaking free is identifying your real priorities. Knowing what truly matters in your life allows you to focus your energy, make better decisions, and create meaningful progress. Without clarity, you will continue to drift, filling your days with tasks that feel important but lead to little actual growth. Let's start with a simple story. Emma was a young professional and an aspiring English learner. Her days were packed, checking emails, attending meetings, doing minor errands, and watching online videos she thought were educational. At the end of each week, she felt exhausted and frustrated. Then she took a step back and asked herself a difficult question. What is actually important to me? She realized that while she spent hours on small, easy tasks, she rarely practiced speaking English, exercised, or worked on her career goals. Her priorities had been buried under endless busyness. Contrast Emma's initial habit with what happened after she clarified her priorities. She created a short list of high-value actions: practicing English speaking for 30 minutes daily, exercising 3 times a week, and dedicating time to career-building projects. Everything else became secondary. Suddenly, her days felt different. The same hours now produced tangible results. By focusing on what mattered, she moved from being busy to being effective. This contrast highlights an important lesson. Not all tasks are equal. Some consume your time without adding value, while others push you closer to your goals. Identifying priorities begins with reflection. Take a notebook or open a digital document and ask yourself, if I could achieve only 3 things this month, what would they be? These 3 things are your high-impact priorities. They should align with your long-term goals, such as improving English skills, advancing in your career, or enhancing your health and well-being. When you write them down, you create clarity. You know where your energy should go and what deserves your attention. Next, break these priorities into actionable daily tasks. Instead of vaguely saying, "I want to get better at English," define what that looks like. Speaking for 30 minutes with a language partner, writing a journal entry, or learning 10 new words each day. By creating specific actions, you transform abstract goals into concrete steps. Contrast this approach with doing random, low-value activities like scrolling social media or attending unproductive meetings. The difference is dramatic. Structured effort builds skills, while scattered activity builds fatigue. Another practical exercise is journaling your activities. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what did I do today that truly matters? What could I have done differently? Over time, patterns emerge. You start noticing tasks that drain energy without producing results. This awareness allows you to cut low-value activities and focus on what contributes to your priorities. Journaling also reinforces accountability, a powerful motivator when building new habits. Daily priority lists are equally important. Each morning, write down the top 3 tasks that will move you closer to your main goals. Keep them visible throughout the day and review them regularly. When distractions arise, check your list and ask, does this help me achieve my priorities, or is it just filling time? This small habit transforms your day from chaotic busyness to purposeful productivity. Contrast this with a day where you let tasks appear randomly, reacting to emails, notifications, and minor demands. You might feel occupied, but the results will be minimal. Self-reflection questions also help sharpen your priorities. Ask yourself, what would I regret not doing if I looked back in a year? What skills, experiences, or achievements are truly important to me? Am I spending my energy on urgent tasks or on the tasks that have the highest long-term impact? Answering honestly helps you distinguish between what feels pressing and what is genuinely valuable. This distinction is crucial for anyone seeking personal growth or mastery of new skills, including English learners who want to make consistent progress. Consider another example. Mark, a software developer who wanted to improve his career and personal life. Initially, he spent hours responding to minor emails and organizing files, thinking he was productive. After reflecting on his priorities, he realized that learning new programming languages and working on side projects would actually advance his career. By cutting low-value tasks and dedicating focused time to these priorities, he began achieving results he had only imagined before. His energy and confidence increased, and he no longer confused busyness with progress. Once you identify your priorities and structure your daily actions around them, the next step is managing your time effectively. Knowing what matters is powerful, but without a system to allocate time and avoid distractions, it's easy to slip back into meaningless busyness. The exercises of journaling, daily lists, and reflection prepare you for the next phase, mastering time management techniques that make intentional work possible. In summary, identifying your real priorities transforms your approach to life. It moves you from reacting to every demand to acting intentionally toward your goals. By distinguishing high-value actions from low-value tasks, writing down your priorities, creating daily action steps, and reflecting regularly, you reclaim control over your day and your progress. This clarity is the foundation for productivity, confidence, and meaningful growth. With your priorities now defined, the next step is to learn how to structure your time to focus on them. How can you protect hours for deep work, avoid distractions, and make each day count? That's exactly what we'll explore in the next section, Mastering Your Time. Section 4, Mastering Your Time. Do you ever feel like there are never enough hours in a day? You wake up early, work through your tasks, check your phone constantly, and yet, by the evening, you wonder, what did I really accomplish? This is the result of mismanaged time, the silent thief that steals our progress while we convince ourselves we are busy. Mastering your time is the bridge between knowing your priorities and actually achieving them. Without control over your schedule, even the clearest priorities can remain unrealized. Let me tell you about Mia, a young professional and English learner. Mia had clearly defined her priorities, improving her English, completing her work efficiently, and maintaining her health through regular exercise. But despite knowing what mattered, she struggled to find time. Her days were filled with distractions, constant notifications, random tasks, and the pressure to respond immediately to emails. She felt frustrated and overwhelmed. Then she discovered time blocking. Instead of attempting to juggle everything at once, she assigned specific hours to her high-priority tasks. From 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., she practiced English speaking. From 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., she focused on deep work for her job. After implementing this structure, Mia's productivity skyrocketed. She experienced the power of focused, intentional effort, realizing that how she managed her time was just as important as what she chose to focus on. Time blocking is just one strategy, but it is incredibly effective. By dividing your day into dedicated blocks for specific tasks, you eliminate the constant decision-making about what to do next. it reduces the temptation to multitask, a common trap that makes people feel productive but actually wastes time and energy. Contrast the difference. Attempting to answer emails, scroll social media, and complete work all at once creates mental fatigue, errors, and incomplete results. Single tasking, on the other hand, allows you to give full attention to one meaningful task, producing higher quality outcomes in less time. Another powerful strategy is the 2-minute rule. If a task can be completed in 2 minutes or less, do it immediately. This prevents small tasks from accumulating and cluttering your schedule, freeing mental space for more important work. For example, replying to a quick email or organizing a small document can be done immediately instead of lingering on a to-do list. While it may seem minor, this simple rule prevents a buildup of unnecessary distractions, allowing you to focus on tasks that truly align with your priorities. Eliminating distractions is equally critical. Notifications, social media, and unnecessary meetings consume hours that could be spent on high-value tasks. Think of distractions as leaks in a bucket. No matter how much water you pour in, the bucket never fills. Mia realized that turning off notifications during her deep work blocks and setting boundaries for her online activities allowed her to reclaim hours each day. She began to feel a sense of control she hadn't experienced before. The contrast was striking. When she allowed distractions to dominate, her progress was slow and frustrating. When she protected her focus, results came faster and with less stress. Let's revisit the concept of single-tasking mastery. Many people pride themselves on multitasking, believing that handling several things at once is productive. In reality, multitasking divides attention, slows performance, and increases mistakes. Focused effort, in contrast, creates momentum. Take Alex, a young man who wanted to improve his English and advance at work. Initially, he tried to study vocabulary while answering emails and watching online tutorials. His progress was minimal, and he felt constantly drained. After learning to single task, dedicating 1 hour solely to English practice, 1 hour solely to work projects, he achieved more in half the time. The contrast is clear. Focused effort amplifies results, while scattered activity wastes time and energy. Mastering time also involves reflection. At the end of each day or week, review how your time was spent. Identify blocks where you were distracted, tasks that were low value, or moments when you could have focused better. By analyzing your patterns, you can make incremental improvements that compound over time. Even small adjustments, shifting a task to a better time of day or combining similar tasks, can free significant time for high-priority actions. Embracing these strategies transforms more than just productivity. It reshapes your mindset. Mia and Alex both discovered that controlling their time allowed them to focus on what mattered, creating a sense of accomplishment and confidence. They realized that busyness without structure leads to stress and stagnation, while intentional scheduling fosters growth and progress. The difference between a chaotic, reactive day and a structured, purposeful day is profound, impacting not only outcomes, but also mental clarity and motivation. By mastering time through strategies like time blocking, single tasking, the 2-minute rule, and eliminating distractions, you take concrete steps to reclaim your day. These habits allow you to move from constant, meaningless activity to focused, intentional action. But even with a well-structured schedule, Another challenge often arises: mindset barriers. Fear of failure, procrastination, or the need for perfection can undermine even the best time management strategies. Recognizing these psychological blocks is the next step in turning intention into action. In the next section, we will explore these mindset barriers and provide strategies to overcome them. Understanding how your mind influences productivity ensures that your time management efforts are sustainable and effective. When you combine clarity about priorities with mastery of your schedule and a strong, focused mindset, you begin to achieve not just busyness, but real, meaningful progress in life, learning, and personal growth. Section 5. Overcoming mental barriers. Even when you know your priorities and have mastered your time, there is one final obstacle that can quietly sabotage your progress: your mindset. Fear, doubt, and pressure can control your actions without you even noticing. Many people think productivity is about doing more, but often it's the mental barriers that prevent meaningful progress. Overcoming these barriers is essential to turn intention into results and to live a life that is truly your own. Let's start with a common trap: FOMO, the fear of missing out. Imagine Sarah, a young professional eager to improve her English and grow in her career. She knew she needed focused time for study and work, but every evening she felt the pull of social media, online events, and gatherings. What if I miss something important? She thought. This constant worry led her to attend too many events, check notifications repeatedly, and multitask through her evening. In the end, she was exhausted, overwhelmed, and had made little real progress. FOMO had stolen her time and energy. Contrast. Sarah's experience with Liam, who faced the same distractions but chose a different approach. He recognized that missing certain events or updates was not the end of the world. He prioritized his high-impact tasks: daily English practice, deep work projects, and personal growth activities, and intentionally said no to low-value distractions. Instead of reacting to every notification or invitation, he acted with purpose. The result? His skills improved quickly, his projects moved forward, and he felt confident and in control. The difference is clear. Letting FOMO rule your decisions leads to exhaustion and stagnation, while living intentionally creates freedom and progress. Perfectionism is another mental barrier that traps many ambitious learners. Perfectionists often delay action because they fear mistakes or criticism. They spend hours refining a task that is already good enough or avoid starting altogether. Take Emma, an English learner who wanted to create a speaking journal. She postponed recording for weeks, worried she would sound awkward or make errors. Meanwhile, her peers who embraced imperfection practiced consistently, improved, and gained confidence. The lesson is simple: progress matters more than perfection. Action builds skill, experience, and momentum. Perfectionism builds frustration, self-doubt, and inaction. The pressure to appear busy is another subtle yet powerful mental trap. Many people overcommit, responding to emails, attending unnecessary meetings, and staying on all the time to maintain an image of productivity. This external pressure often comes from workplace culture, peers, or social expectations. But focusing on appearances over results creates stress and prevents deep work. Contrast this with someone who sets boundaries, focuses on high-impact tasks, and doesn't feel the need to broadcast every action. The second approach, leads to real growth, satisfaction, and respect from others, not just the illusion of being busy. Overcoming these mental barriers requires both awareness and practice. One effective strategy is daily reflection. Spend 5 to 10 minutes each evening asking yourself, did I act intentionally today? Did I let fear, FOMO, or perfectionism control my choices? What small adjustments can I make tomorrow to focus on what truly matters? Reflection helps you identify patterns, recognize wasted energy, and make conscious changes. Over time, it rewires your mindset to prioritize action and intentionality. Meditation is another powerful tool. Even 10 minutes of quiet focus each day can reduce stress, increase mental clarity, and strengthen self-discipline. Meditation trains your mind to notice distractions, let go of unnecessary worries, and return to what truly matters. For learners and ambitious professionals, this means staying focused on priorities rather than reacting to every notification or internal fear. It's not just relaxation, it's training your mind for intentional action. Accountability partners also make a significant difference. Sharing your goals with someone you trust creates external support and motivation. Knowing that someone will check in on your progress encourages consistent effort, helps you overcome procrastination, and provides perspective when FOMO or perfectionism creeps in. For example, Liam shared his English learning goals with a friend. They practiced together, reviewed progress, and encouraged each other to stay on track. This simple support system amplified results and built confidence. Let's look at another story. Maria, a young professional, struggled with procrastination and fear of judgment. She wanted to start a blog in English, but delayed posting for months, convinced her writing was not good enough. She began a practice of daily reflection, 10 minutes of meditation, and weekly check-ins with a mentor. Slowly, she overcame fear and perfectionism. Her first post went live, then the second, and eventually she built a small following. By addressing her mental barriers, she transformed her ideas into real achievements. The key lesson is that mindset barriers are invisible but real. FOMO, perfectionism, and pressure to appear busy may not seem dangerous at first, but they silently steal your time, energy, and potential. The difference between those who achieve meaningful progress and those who remain stuck often comes down to how well they manage their mind. Awareness, reflection, meditation, and accountability are practical tools to break free from these chains. With mental barriers addressed, the next natural step is building habits that sustain productivity. Identifying priorities, mastering time, and overcoming fear are essential foundations, but habits are what create consistent, long-term results. In the next section, we'll explore how high-impact habits can amplify your focus, reinforce your priorities, and transform your busy days into meaningful progress. By combining clarity, focus, and the right mindset, you can finally turn intention into real achievement. Section 6. Building high-impact habits. Habits are the invisible architecture of our lives. They shape our results, define our productivity, and influence our personal growth, often without us realizing it. Many people mistake activity for habit, checking emails every few minutes, scrolling social media, or attending endless meetings. But these superficial routines rarely lead to meaningful progress. True transformation comes from high-impact habits, consistent actions that build skills, knowledge, and momentum over time. Understanding the difference between these two types of habits is essential for anyone looking to stop pretending to be busy and start achieving real results. Let's start with a contrast. Imagine two people. Jason checks his emails constantly throughout the day. He feels productive because he is always working, but the majority of his energy goes into small, reactive tasks. At the end of the week, he feels tired but sees little growth. Meanwhile, Olivia dedicates 2 focused hours each morning to improving her skills, learning English, working on personal projects, and connecting with mentors. She doesn't respond to every notification immediately or attend unnecessary meetings. By the end of the week, Olivia has made visible progress, improved her skills, and gained confidence. The difference is clear. Superficial habits consume time without results, while high-impact habits produce measurable growth. High-impact habits share common characteristics: consistency, alignment with priorities, and meaningful outcomes. They focus on actions that matter, not just actions that keep you busy. For example, a young professional learning English could set a habit of practicing speaking with a language partner for 30 minutes every day. Another example is dedicating time each morning to skill building or personal development, instead of checking social media first thing. These habits may seem small individually, but over weeks and months, they compound into significant improvement, creating momentum that propels you toward your goals. Let's look at a motivational example. Anna, a university student, struggled with time management and felt overwhelmed by her busy schedule. She spent her days attending classes, scrolling online, and completing minor tasks, but her real goals, improving her English and building a professional portfolio, remained stagnant. Anna decided to implement high-impact habits. She committed to writing a 200-word journal in English every day, practicing speaking with a partner 3 times a week, and dedicating 1 focused hour each evening to portfolio development. The change was gradual but powerful. Within a few months, her English improved significantly. She gained confidence in conversations, and her portfolio began to attract attention from potential employers. Her consistent, high-value habits transformed her progress and mindset. Creating high-impact habits requires a few actionable steps. First, identify the areas of your life where consistent action will create the most value. These should align with your priorities, whether it's learning a new skill, advancing your career, or improving health. Next, start small. Focus on 1 or 2 high-value habits at a time. Attempting too much at once leads to overwhelm and inconsistency. By starting with manageable actions, you can build momentum and confidence gradually. Another key is to anchor your habits to your daily routine. For example, practice English immediately after breakfast, or dedicate the first hour of your workday to your most important project. By linking habits to existing routines, you reduce the mental effort required to start and maintain them. Consistency is more important than intensity at the beginning. It's better to practice 15 to 30 minutes every day than to overcommit and burn out. Tracking your progress is equally important. Keep a journal, use habit tracking apps, or mark your calendar each time you complete a habit. Seeing visual evidence of consistency reinforces motivation and helps identify patterns that may need adjustment. Over time, tracking transforms habits from mere intentions into ingrained routines that propel growth. Accountability also plays a crucial role in sustaining high-impact habits. Share your goals with a mentor, friend, or study partner. Reporting progress to someone else increases commitment and provides external motivation. For instance, Anna's language partner not only helped her practice speaking, but also held her accountable, ensuring she stayed consistent even on days when she felt unmotivated. It's important to remember that setbacks are part of habit formation. Missing a day or struggling with consistency doesn't mean failure. It's simply part of the learning process. High-impact habits are about long-term persistence, not perfection. Each day you return to your habits strengthens your discipline and compounds your results. Contrast this with the superficial routines. One missed email check or one skipped social media scroll doesn't significantly impact your progress because they never contributed to meaningful outcomes in the first place. Finally, recognize the emotional and psychological benefits of high-impact habits. They build confidence, reduce anxiety, and create a sense of purpose. Unlike superficial activity, which often leaves you drained and frustrated, meaningful habits energize you. They make each day feel productive and aligned with your goals, reinforcing a positive cycle of effort and achievement. By focusing on high-impact habits, you transform busyness into purpose. Every day becomes an opportunity to make measurable progress, strengthen skills, and build momentum toward your goals. Superficial routines may fill time, but intentional habits create lasting results, confidence, and growth. In the next section, we will explore the art of saying no, learning to protect your time and energy so your high-impact habits can thrive. Identifying priorities, mastering time, overcoming mindset barriers, and building strong habits set the foundation. Saying no ensures that these efforts are not undermined by unnecessary distractions and low-value commitments, allowing you to continue making real progress in life, learning, and personal development. Section 7. Learning to say no. One of the most underrated skills in life is the ability to say no. Most people think success comes from doing more, attending every meeting, accepting every request, and saying yes to every opportunity. But the truth is, saying yes too often can silently sabotage your progress. Overcommitting leads to burnout, distraction, and a life that is busy but unproductive. Learning to say no is not about being rude or unhelpful. It's about protecting your time, energy, and priorities so that you can focus on what truly matters. Consider Alex, a young professional who was always eager to help. He said yes to every request at work, joined every social event, and volunteered for multiple side projects. At first, it felt rewarding. People appreciated his dedication, and he seemed indispensable. But over time, Alex became exhausted. His projects lagged, his personal goals were neglected, and he constantly felt stressed. He realized too late that by trying to do everything, he was achieving very little. He had confused busyness with productivity, and saying yes to everyone had stolen his time. Now contrast Alex's experience with Maya. Maya faced the same pressures, work deadlines, social expectations, and opportunities, but she made a conscious choice to protect her time. She politely declined non-essential meetings, limited social events to what truly mattered, and focused on high-impact tasks. The difference was striking. Maya's energy was preserved, her work improved, and she made real progress toward her personal and professional goals. Saying no allowed her to reclaim control over her life. Saying no begins with clarity about your priorities. When you know what matters most, your high-value goals, your personal development, or your learning objectives, it becomes easier to identify tasks and commitments that don't align. Ask yourself, does this help me achieve my goals, or does it distract me? If the answer is no, it's an opportunity to say no with confidence. Understanding the value of your time transforms refusal from guilt-inducing to empowering. Polite refusals are an essential tool. Saying no doesn't have to be harsh or confrontational. Simple phrases like, "I appreciate the offer, but I need to focus on my current priorities," or "I'm unable to commit right now, but thank you for thinking of me," allow you to maintain relationships while protecting your time. Practicing these phrases helps you respond quickly and confidently in both personal and professional contexts. Over time, saying no becomes natural, and people respect your boundaries rather than resenting them. Digital detox is another powerful technique. Technology is one of the biggest sources of distraction, constantly demanding attention through notifications, messages, and social media updates. Setting boundaries with your devices, such as turning off notifications during deep work, scheduling specific times for checking emails, or taking short social media breaks, helps you say no to distractions that steal focus. Imagine the difference between a day spent reacting to every ping on your phone versus a day where you control when and how you engage with digital tools. The results are immediate: clarity, energy, and meaningful output. Boundary setting is equally critical in workplace and social contexts. Young adults often feel pressure to attend events, accept responsibilities, or respond to peers' expectations. Setting clear limits, such as defining work hours, communicating availability, or declining requests that don't align with priorities, creates space for meaningful action. For example, instead of agreeing to every meeting at work, you could block time for deep projects and politely suggest alternative times or delegate tasks. The contrast is clear. Overcommitting leads to fatigue and distraction, while boundaries enable focused effort and sustained progress. Storytelling makes this point relatable. Take Liam, a university student juggling part-time work, English learning, and social commitments. Initially, he said yes to every opportunity, from weekend parties to study groups and volunteer events. He was overwhelmed, tired, and making little progress in his English practice. After realizing the cost of overcommitment, Liam began saying no to less important events and dedicating evenings to focused study and skill practice. Within weeks, his fluency improved, his assignments were completed with higher quality, and he felt a sense of control he had never experienced before. Boundaries transformed his life. It's also important to remember that saying no isn't permanent. Priorities change, and opportunities sometimes align perfectly with your goals. Saying no today doesn't mean saying no forever. The key is intention. Evaluate every request based on its alignment with your current objectives. By doing so, you protect your energy while remaining open to meaningful opportunities. The ability to say no also strengthens your confidence. When you consistently protect your time and focus on high-value tasks, you internalize the belief that your goals matter. This mindset reduces guilt and anxiety, making it easier to maintain boundaries and avoid falling back into meaningless busyness. Over time, saying no becomes not just a strategy, but a core habit of intentional living. By mastering the art of saying no, you create space for what truly matters: your priorities, high-impact habits, and meaningful growth. Overcommitting may feel productive in the moment, but it erodes energy, focus, and results. Protecting your time with polite refusals, digital detox, and clear boundaries ensures that your effort is directed toward tasks that move you forward. In the next section, we will explore strategies for maintaining consistency and motivation, turning your intentional actions into long-term success. Learning to say no sets the foundation, but sustaining progress requires daily reinforcement, accountability, and mindset alignment. Combining these elements allows you to continue achieving real results while avoiding the trap of fake busyness. Section 8. Tracking real progress. Have you ever felt proud at the end of a day thinking, "I was so busy today," only to realize that nothing substantial was accomplished? This is the trap of measuring effort instead of outcomes. Many people focus on vanity metrics: hours spent, emails answered, tasks checked off, while ignoring what really matters: meaningful progress. Tracking real progress is the bridge between busyness and achievement. It shows you whether your actions are producing results, reinforces motivation, and ensures that your energy is invested in high-value activities. Consider two young professionals, Sarah and Tom. Sarah tracks her time obsessively. She records every meeting attended, every email sent, and every notification responded to. She feels productive, but her skill growth and career advancement are minimal. Tom, on the other hand, tracks outcomes. He notes completed projects, skills learned, and tangible results achieved. He also reflects on whether each task moved him closer to his goals. By the end of the month, Tom has measurable achievements to show, while Sarah feels exhausted but stagnant. This contrast highlights the difference between busyness and meaningful progress. Effort alone does not equal results. Outcomes do. One practical way to track real progress is journaling. At the end of each day, write down what you accomplished, what skills you developed, and how your actions contributed to your priorities. For example, instead of writing, "worked 3 hours on English," you might write, "completed a speaking session with a partner, learned 15 new words, and wrote a 200-word journal entry." This method allows you to focus on tangible achievements, recognize improvements, and identify areas for growth. Over time, journaling creates a record of your progress, reinforcing motivation and accountability. Another effective approach is using productivity apps or digital tools designed to track outcomes. Applications like Notion, To-Do List, or Trello allow you to create project boards, set specific goals, and mark tangible results rather than just tasks. For example, instead of checking off generic "study English" items, you track completed exercises, spoken conversations, or written drafts. The visual representation of progress provides clarity and a sense of accomplishment that simple effort cannot deliver. Weekly reviews are also powerful for maintaining focus on real progress. Set aside time every week to evaluate what you achieved, what worked, and what needs adjustment. Ask yourself, did my actions move me closer to my goals? Did I focus on high-impact tasks? What can I improve next week? This reflection reinforces intentional action, prevents wasted effort, and highlights both achievements and learning opportunities. Over time, weekly reviews develop a habit of self-awareness, ensuring that busyness never masquerades as productivity. Let's look at a real-world example. Anna, an English learner, used to track only the hours she spent studying. She felt productive, but her speaking skills weren't improving. When she switched to tracking outcomes, number of words learned, conversations completed, journal entries written, she immediately noticed patterns. She realized that some study methods weren't effective and adjusted her routine. Within a few months, her speaking improved dramatically, and she felt motivated because she could see real, tangible results. Tracking outcomes rather than time spent transformed her progress. Contrast is crucial here. Imagine two scenarios. One person spends 8 hours working, but only 30% of that time produces meaningful results. Another spends 4 focused hours achieving tangible outcomes. Which person is truly productive? The difference is the impact of their actions. By measuring progress in terms of outcomes, you stop equating activity with success and start rewarding results that matter. This mindset shift is critical for anyone serious about personal growth, skill development, or career advancement. Another method is habit-based tracking. Connect progress to the high-impact habits you've built. For instance, if your habit is daily language practice, track whether you completed the practice and what specific improvements you made. By aligning progress tracking with intentional habits, you reinforce consistency, accountability, and meaningful achievement. Over time, these small victories compound into significant growth. It's also important to recognize the motivational power of tracking progress. Seeing tangible results, even small ones, boosts confidence, reinforces discipline, and provides momentum for future action. In contrast, focusing solely on effort or activity can lead to frustration, burnout, and stagnation. By celebrating real progress, you cultivate a positive feedback loop. Intentional effort leads to outcomes, which increases motivation, which fuels further effort. Tracking real progress is not just about accountability, it's about clarity and control. When you know what is moving you forward, you can make informed decisions about where to invest time and energy. You avoid distractions, say no to low-value tasks, and maintain focus on high-impact actions. The result is a life that feels productive, fulfilling, and aligned with your goals. As we move to the next section on mindset transformation, remember this: progress is measurable. Busyness is not. When you shift your focus from effort to outcomes, from activity to achievement, you gain control over your life and learning. Tracking real progress ensures that every action contributes to growth, skill development, and meaningful accomplishment. This foundation prepares you for the next step, transforming your mindset to fully embrace productivity, focus, and consistent achievement. Section 9. Transforming your mindset. The final and perhaps most powerful step in escaping the trap of fake busyness is transforming your mindset. For many, busyness has become a status symbol, a way to feel important, gain approval, or prove worth. But this mindset is deceptive. Being busy is not the same as being productive, and it certainly does not equate to personal growth or achievement. Real transformation begins when you shift from measuring your value by how occupied you are to measuring it by meaningful, purpose-driven results. Take David, a young professional who prided himself on being constantly busy. His days were a whirlwind of meetings, emails, and tasks that never seemed to end. On the surface, He appeared hard-working and successful, but internally, he felt frustrated and empty. Despite his long hours, he had few tangible accomplishments, and his self-esteem suffered. He equated busyness with value, but this mindset trapped him in a cycle of exhaustion without real progress. Contrast David's experience with Clara, who embraced intentional living. Clara also had a full schedule, but she prioritized actions that aligned with her goals: skill development, meaningful work, and personal growth. She learned to focus, say no to distractions, and celebrate tangible achievements rather than time spent. Over months, she gained confidence, noticed measurable improvement, and felt a sense of purpose in her daily life. Clara's mindset shifted from "I am busy, therefore I matter" to "I act intentionally, therefore I progress." The difference was transformative. She was no longer a prisoner of busyness, but an architect of her own life. This shift requires self-awareness. The first step is acknowledging where you have been trapped by the illusion of busyness. Ask yourself, have I been confusing effort with progress? Have I allowed FOMO, perfectionism, or social pressure to dictate my actions? Honest reflection uncovers patterns that may have been invisible and helps you take control. Recognizing these patterns is empowering because it highlights the areas where change is possible. Next, cultivate clarity about your purpose. Write down your key goals, both short-term and long-term, and identify the actions that directly contribute to them. For instance, if your goal is to improve English fluency, meaningful actions might include daily speaking practice, journaling, and focused listening exercises. Low-value activities, scrolling social media, checking messages incessantly, or attending unimportant meetings, are distractions that erode progress. The contrast is stark. Intentional actions build skill, confidence, and results, while reactive busyness produces stress and stagnation. To reinforce this mindset, practice daily reflection. Take 5 to 10 minutes each evening to ask, did my actions today move me closer to my goals? Did I focus on what truly matters? Where did I let distractions or fear influence my choices? Reflection creates mental clarity, strengthens self-discipline, and reinforces the value of purposeful action. Over time, this habit rewires your mind, turning intentionality into a default behavior rather than a conscious effort. Visualization is another powerful exercise. Imagine your ideal self, confident, skilled, and achieving your goals. Picture what a productive, purposeful day looks like, what habits you follow, and how you respond to challenges. Visualization helps align your actions with your desired outcomes, creating motivation and mental readiness to take consistent action. This exercise also contrasts the old mindset of busyness with the new mindset of intentional growth. Self-talk is equally critical. Many people who fall into the trap of fake busyness carry negative self-perceptions. I am not doing enough, or I must be constantly active to matter. Transforming your mindset means replacing these thoughts with empowering statements. I focus on what matters. I make meaningful progress every day. Or, my time and energy are valuable. Language shapes perception, and changing your inner dialogue reinforces your shift from busyness to purpose-driven productivity. Storytelling reinforces this shift. Consider Lily, a college student overwhelmed by social and academic commitments. She initially believed that being busy equated to success and self-worth. After learning to identify priorities, track real progress, and focus on high-impact actions, she experienced a mindset transformation. Lily began valuing achievements over effort and intentional actions over mere activity. She felt empowered, confident, and motivated to continue growing. The emotional impact was profound. Stress decreased, focus improved, and her sense of self-worth no longer depended on appearances or external validation. Another technique is setting measurable milestones. Break your goals into actionable steps and celebrate each achievement no matter how small. Milestones create a tangible sense of progress, reinforcing the mindset that consistent, intentional effort produces results. Contrast this with tracking busyness. Endless hours spent without measurable outcomes lead to frustration and self-doubt, while tracking milestones generates confidence and motivation. Finally, combine these exercises: reflection, visualization, positive self-talk, and milestone tracking with your high-impact habits and time management strategies. When your mindset, actions, and priorities align, you experience a profound transformation. Busyness loses its allure, focus becomes effortless, and purpose drives your daily life. You move from exhaustion to empowerment, from distraction to mastery, and from the illusion of productivity to tangible, meaningful results. As we approach the conclusion, remember this: the journey from pretending to be busy to living intentionally is not only about changing what you do, but also about changing how you think. A mindset rooted in purpose, clarity, and self-confidence enables you to prioritize effectively, act intentionally, and achieve results that matter. With this transformation, you are prepared to take control of your life, make meaningful progress, and finally stop equating busyness with value. In the next section, we will bring everything together with a powerful conclusion and actionable call to action, inspiring you to implement these strategies immediately and embrace a life of focus, purpose, and achievement. Section 10. Conclusion and Call to Action. We've traveled a long journey together in this video, exploring the hidden truths behind busyness, the cost of pretending, and the strategies to reclaim control over your life. If you've watched this far, it means you're ready to stop letting fake busyness dictate your days and start acting intentionally. Now, it's time to tie everything together and transform understanding into action. First, let's remember the most critical insight: recognizing fake busyness. Being busy is not a badge of honor. It doesn't define your worth, your intelligence, or your potential. Many people fall into the trap of constant activity, scrolling on social media, answering endless emails, attending pointless meetings, while feeling accomplished. But underneath, they feel frustrated, exhausted, and unfulfilled. Identifying when you are merely busy versus truly productive is the first step toward change. It's about honest self-reflection, acknowledging wasted time, and taking responsibility for your priorities. This awareness is the foundation for everything that follows. Once you recognize the illusion, the next step is focusing on what really matters, your real priorities. These are the actions that move you closer to your goals, whether it's learning English, advancing in your career, improving your health, or building meaningful relationships. Contrast this with unimportant tasks, which may feel urgent but deliver little value. By identifying your high-impact activities, you gain clarity about where to invest your time and energy. This clarity is empowering because it replaces reactionary busyness with intentional action. Mastering your time is the next essential pillar. Time blocking, eliminating distractions, practicing single tasking, and applying the 2-minute rule are practical strategies that allow you to regain control over your day. Imagine the difference between a chaotic, reactive schedule and one carefully structured around your priorities. When you manage time intentionally, each day becomes an opportunity to achieve meaningful results. Without this skill, even knowing your priorities is not enough. Your time becomes the battlefield where progress is won or lost. Building high-impact habits takes intention and consistency. Superficial routines like endlessly checking emails or mindless social media scrolling do not produce growth. True habits are consistent actions aligned with your goals. Practicing skills daily, learning continuously, and dedicating time to personal development. These habits compound over weeks and months, producing measurable progress. The stories of people like Anna and Liam show that small, intentional steps, repeated consistently, lead to remarkable transformation. High-impact habits turn ordinary days into milestones of achievement. Equally important is learning to say no. Boundaries are not selfish. They are necessary to protect your time and energy. Overcommitting to tasks, events, or social pressures dilutes focus and leads to burnout. Saying no allows you to concentrate on high-value actions, safeguarding your priorities, and ensuring your effort produces meaningful results. Whether through polite refusals, digital detox, or boundary-setting techniques, learning to say no is a skill that transforms busyness into purposeful living. Tracking real progress reinforces everything we've discussed. Counting hours or tasks gives a false sense of productivity, while measuring outcomes shows whether your actions are truly effective. Journals, productivity apps, and weekly reviews provide clarity, motivation, and accountability. When you focus on measurable results, projects completed, skills developed, milestones achieved, you gain confidence and reinforce a cycle of intentional, meaningful action. Vanity metrics fade away, replaced by tangible accomplishments that reflect real growth. Transforming your mindset ties all these elements together. The shift from valuing busyness as status to embracing purpose-driven productivity is profound. Negative self-perceptions, guilt, and fear of judgment dissolve when you focus on intentional action and real results. Practices like daily reflection, visualization, positive self-talk, and milestone tracking reinforce your confidence and mental clarity. When your mindset aligns with your priorities, time management, habits, and boundaries, you experience true empowerment. You move from exhaustion and distraction to focus, clarity, and achievement. Now, here comes the most important part: action. Knowledge alone is not enough. You must implement these strategies consistently. Start with one change today. Perhaps it's creating a time-blocked schedule, identifying your top 3 priorities, or saying no to a low-value task. Take note of your progress, reflect on how it affects your focus and energy, and commit to maintaining these intentional practices. The power of transformation comes from consistent, purposeful action repeated daily. Remember, every small step compounds over time. Reclaiming your life from fake busyness is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's about shifting from reactive activity to deliberate achievement. It's about aligning your actions with your values, priorities, and goals. Stop pretending, stop chasing the illusion of busyness, and start living a life of intentional, meaningful progress. As you move forward, keep this in mind. You have control over your time, your focus, and your habits. You can choose to let distractions dominate, or you can act with purpose. You can allow busyness to define you, or you can define yourself through real achievements. Each choice matters. Every decision either moves you toward your goals or keeps you trapped in the illusion of activity. The difference is yours to make. So, here's my friendly but authoritative challenge to you. Implement one strategy from this video today. Reflect on how it affects your focus, motivation, and sense of accomplishment. Commit to consistent growth and watch as small intentional actions compound into meaningful transformation. Stop pretending to be busy. Start living intentionally. Take control, act with purpose, and reclaim your life. By integrating these lessons, recognizing fake busyness, focusing on priorities, mastering your time, building high-impact habits, learning to say no, tracking real progress, and transforming your mindset, you create a life that is productive, fulfilling, and aligned with your deepest goals. This is not a theoretical exercise. It is a practical blueprint for real, lasting change. The journey doesn't end here. Every day is a new opportunity to act intentionally, reinforce your habits, and track meaningful results. Keep your priorities clear, protect your time, and nurture a mindset that values progress over busyness. By doing so, you will not only achieve your goals, but also cultivate confidence, self-discipline, and a sense of purpose that lasts a lifetime. It's time to take action. Start today. Focus intentionally. Track your progress, and commit to the growth you deserve. The life you want, productive, meaningful, and fulfilling, is waiting. Stop pretending to be busy. Start living on purpose. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, remember that real change begins with action. Start today by implementing one strategy we discussed, whether it's identifying your priorities, saying no to distractions, or tracking your real progress. Keep practicing intentionally, stay consistent, and watch how your life transforms. Don't forget to like, comment, and share your progress with us. And if you want more tips to improve your English, productivity, and personal growth, make sure to subscribe to Read and Learn English and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Take control of your life, act intentionally, and keep growing every single day.